Peace, God.
Hey, Dad. He's so good.
Hey, man, I got you a new book.
A new book?
Check it out. Check it out. Let me know how you like it. I'll be back. Man, this Bitcoin, this Ethereum ain't doing nothing for me right now, man. Gotta find some new investments.
Peace, God. What you doing?
Peace, God. Good.
I think this book is kind of inappropriate.
Inappropriate? What's up with it?
It's inappropriate because look at these.
LGBT. Oh, man, I'm sorry about that, God.
I accept your apology.
Man, it's a shame, man. You can't even find no decent books for you nowadays without having to have these difficult conversations.
I have an idea. Maybe
that?
we should make a series of our own book.
A book series? That is a good idea.
7 volumes.
7, I get it. 7 volumes. What should we call it?
7 the Super Hey Rude.
7 the Super. Perfect. 7 the Super Hey Rude.
And then maybe we could even make some bundles of it once we get to volume 3.
Oh, see, now you're thinking like a businessman. I like that idea, man. A foundational Black American children's series.
Perfect.
Visit www.godcastbooks.com and pre-order your book today.
Listen, I'm so far ahead of my time, gotta rewind me just to see my future, boy, the proof is inside me. I seen the archaeologists exhuming my body, analyzing my tattoos and my jewelry, they robbed me, vandalizing my tomb cause they knew I was godly, changed my name in the history books, they whitewashed me. I pursued my legacy, knowing it might cost me, but heaven is ahead of me, been through hell and it scorched me. The world turns and we stand still, and radio keep playing songs that we can't feel. Niggas hear me kicking knowledge, ask me if I've been to college, told them I just see the world at a standstill. For real, I'm self-educated, practice self-preservation, and pass it loud for the meditation. Inhale while I exhale, no Molly I expel, plenty weed and Hennessy for the celebration. Sometimes I feel I was born in the wrong era. I should have been a Nile Valley king or some sort of emperor. Temperature is rising, affected by the knowledge of self-found wealth when I opened my third eyelid. Sky is the limit was the lies that was given, so I tried to convince them they limit was infinite. But still, they don't get it. They Lord is a gimmick, a tool that was used to keep us all in submission. I don't claim no religion, I just stay on my pivot and slay all the demons that's waging war on my spirit. Cause man, so much trouble on my mind. The media's acid rain on the brain. Channel 9, so I looked at Van Sertimer. You probably never heard of him. Sheikh Andy Diop and a host of other noblemen that wrote us gems to get your third eye to open it. Dig inside the broader files, learn about your origin. If we was way more proud of our ancestry, we see the situation and know we just can't let it be. Imagine if we knew who was the real Lazarus. You wouldn't think of booty scratches when you speak of Africans. I picture princess. I see my daughter as a princess, a goddess. One time for my niggas who know the difference. Walk with me, I'm trying to spar with Muhammad Ali, kicking with Bruce Lee, jogging through African safari. Catch me levitating on Mount Kilimanjaro. I'll be meditating in Egypt, nigga, I'm Pharaoh. I'll be still sitting on the throne when I'm dead and gone. See the future in my son's eyes, that shit's set in stone. Yeah, it's inevitable. I just delivered the message that discredit the book. And I don't claim to be no prophet or no scholar, I'm a father. I'm just trying to make your head sharper, I'm a barber. Each one teach one, you teach your son, I teach mine. Much more than how to reach for a gun, but not excluding that. We under attack, can't exclude the fact. So at some point, I'ma have to allude to that reality. We should have the earth keep your salary. Teach my daughter she should have a CFO mentality. Practice group economics, screw Reaganomics. We survived it, that was proof God is inside us. Shade 4-5, vibes out of control.
Sincere love to God. Zelle, water.
Yeah, like that. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen. Let's see what's in the God's mind.
Let me just spit this bar one more time because I don't think anybody. I don't know if they caught it. I'm just trying to make your head sharper. I'm a barber. I felt that. I felt that. I'm just trying to make your head sharper. I'm a barber. I'm just saying. Did y'all feel that? Man, that was fire. You know, when I saw that, this morning. That was right when you had text me. I really wasn't up. I ain't gonna even lie, but I heard my phone ring. So I was like, who's this? So that's when I actually got up or whatever. But then I went right onto Instagram and I saw it and whatever. I was like, look at this nigga. He over here showing out. Sometimes he go off. So, they see cool, calm, and collected, just sitting there, we on here doing the show, whatever. But yes. I like this side. I love this side of Sincere. I love this side that people can see, that this is real hip hop. This is a real, MC, a real spitter,
Yes, indeed, man. And that's crazy too, because a lot of people say that too. It's like two different personalities or something. Yes. Usually I'm just chilling, laid back or whatever. You know what I mean? But when it's time to do what it do, you gotta make it do what it do.
I see. And I can just see RP just sitting there. I could just feel his spirit lighting up. He was cool with it though. But when he was spitting, I can just see the energy. I was like, look at this nigga. He was showing out. He went off.
Yes, indeed. And the shit that was fly about it too. For those that don't know, we was at Sirius XM last week on Shade 45. We did the Rappers Out of Control show. That's where that freestyle that y'all just saw was from. And the shit that was fly about it, I had my son with me. My son, shout out Young Zelo. He was there with me. And when we was getting ready to go up there, they sent us all the rules and stuff like that. And it was like, you could bring one guest with you, but they're not going to be on air. They're just going to, they could wait in the lobby or whatever. And so we get up there, and everybody was cool. They laid out the red carpet for us. They treated us like we were stars for real. You know what I'm saying? And so we came through. They let them come in the studio with us and all of that. And so I'm like, hey, yo, Z, I'm gonna ask them if they're gonna let you spit. You ready? And so no hesitation. He like, yeah. I'm like, well, it ain't gonna be no trap beat. It ain't gonna be no drill beat. I'm gonna need you to, hop on whatever they throw on, because we don't know what beat they're gonna play. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever beat they throw on, you're gonna have to do what you do. So first he like, well, I'm gonna just tell him, let me go a cappella. I'm like, nah, you ain't gonna embarrass me up here. Whatever beat they throw on, you gotta make it do what it do. Otherwise, just fall back, just chill. He like, nah. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, yo, my son get busy too, man. You know what I mean? Just in case y'all got a little extra time at the end, let him get on the mic. And, shout out the Eclipse, shout out to DJ Eclipse. He like, how old is he? I'm like, he 19. He like, I don't know what he sound like. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, he not on what we on, you know what I'm saying? But he get busy though, you know what I'm saying? He get busy. And so he like, all right, we'll see. And so at the end, when he started to announce the freestyles, he threw Zelo name out there. He said, yeah, we got Young Zelo in here too. Surprise guest appearance. I hope he ready. You know what I'm saying? But I'm proud of him because no hesitation. He like, yeah,
let's go.
What I'm saying? And he killed it too. You know what I mean? I ain't post that one on my page. I'm waiting for him to post it himself. But he bodied it as well. And I'm gonna do a lyrical breakdown on the whole freestyle because it's a lot behind it. It's a lot behind what I'm saying, and it's a lot behind just the story that goes into it as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do the next Masters Decoded is gonna be the lyrical breakdown on
that freestyle.
845 freestyle. So y'all stay tuned for that. Probably tomorrow, this Tuesday evening. So y'all stay tuned for that.
That was fire. And so I like to listen. And with those freestyles, sometimes it's like some people spit fast. Obviously, it's something you haven't heard before, so you're just listening to those, those things that's just gonna jog your spirit. I was like, this shit right here, this nigga be hiding little talents and stuff. Y'all don't know. Like, Sincere just surprises you with little shit. Like, we know you're MC. Obviously, we have all the albums and stuff like that, so obviously you can rhyme, but I think freestyling is something different because it is off the dome, right? So you just have to spit, right?
Not necessarily. And so now that wasn't off the dome. And a lot of the freestyles that you see nowadays are not off of the dome. But the original definition of freestyle is off the dome, just impromptu, whatever the first thing that comes to your mind. But a lot of the freestyles are written. It's just basically just a rhyme that doesn't go with a song. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, that's how they define a freestyle. And so that was one of those. And so just to let y'all know, those y'all that's watching now, a little tidbit. The first part of the rhyme that I said, that shit is like over 20 years old.
Wow.
That shit is old as hell. The first part of the rhyme, anyway. But I'm gonna break the whole thing down.
We're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down.
Break the whole thing down for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready for that.
But make sure y'all hit the like button as y'all coming in here, family. Peace to everybody that's joining us right now. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share this out on your social media platforms. Let everybody know that Sincere Love the Godcast is live right now. For those of y'all that don't know, you should know by now. I am the God Sincere Love, and this is my lovely co-host.
And my hair ain't combed. I just literally put a little thing on here to try to pull it up, because let me tell you, we early today, so I didn't have time.
Yes. It's an early broadcast for today. Normally we here at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Sundays, but we came on a little bit early today because I got some other stuff going on a little bit later. But yeah, man, welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast, man. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever we go live with new episodes of Sincere Love the Godcast. But share this out on your social media platform right now. Let everybody know that we are live. And we're going to be talking, our main topic, we're going to be talking about Jaylen Brown. You know, as y'all know, he signed the biggest deal in NBA history. Jaylen Brown plays for the Boston Celtics. He just signed the richest deal in NBA contract history so far. Somebody probably going to break that record real soon. But everybody's been talking about his response after when he did the press conference talking about the contract and everything, and they asked him about what he going to do with the money. And he had a great response to the question, and so that got social media talking, and that's going to be our main topic that we get in a little bit later on today, amongst other things. So do all the YouTube stuff for us.
Yes. So, again, happy Sunday, everybody. And yes, we're a little early. Thank you all for tuning in so far. And again, make sure you share this broadcast out. That does help us get noticed in the algorithm. So, yeah. We're going to start the show off with this story right here. Again, I don't know why. I don't care how hot it gets, especially if I'm a non-melanated person. I'm not going to Lake Lanier. I'm personally not getting in the water. I'm not going to tap my toe in the water. Not at all. So this is on Fox 5 Atlanta. Man executed after jumping into Lake Lanier identified. So this was on Thursday. Electrocuted.
Yeah, you said executed.
I said, oh, my bad. Electrocuted. I'm sorry. I'm confused. So from my understanding, there was no bad weather in Atlanta or in the Georgia area last Thursday, correct?
There was this Thursday that just passed, right?
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't no thunderstorms and nothing. Thursday. I'm thinking about bugging. Did we have some flash storms that I forgot about? I don't think so. It was just a hot summer day.
Well, something happened because Thomas Milner was electrocuted in Lake Lanier. So this happened in, how do you say this? Forsyth County? Is that how you pronounce it?
Forsyth
County.
Yeah.
A 24-year-old man is dead after jumping off a dock into Lake Lanier near Lanier Beach South Road on Thursday, according to Georgia Department of Natural Resources. DNR says man was electrocuted. A neighbor pulled the man from the water, says DNR. The man was taken to North, I don't know how to say it, hospital, where he later died. The sheriff's office has identified the deceased as Thomas Milner. They say Milner entered the water from his family dock and was heard screaming for help shortly after. A family friend attempted to get him out of the water but was unsuccessful. Neighbors reported reportedly took a boat over to Thomas, and one person jumped into the water to help him. That person later described a burning sensation that he recognized as electrical shock. He swam ashore, turned off the power, and re-entered the water to help Thomas. After Thomas was pulled back onto the dock, his uncle gave him CPR until first responders arrived. No other information has been released about the man or the incident.
Wait. He went into the water.
Mm-hmm.
He felt a warm sensation that he recognized as electrical shock.
Not him, the person that jumped in to help him. His cousin
the person that jumped in to help him. Once he got in the water, he felt the sensation, and he's like, "Oh shit, some electricity!" So he swam to shore and turned off the power. Turned off what power?
Right. Because why would the power be in the water?
What the hell?
You're on a dock. You're on a dock. So that made no sense, right?
I don't know what happened there. That sounds like some shit from what's that movie where death just follow everybody?
Right, man.
I forgot the name of that movie.
I guess these people just act like they don't know the history there. And for those that do not know, Lake Lanier is basically a black town, a black town that was flooded, by the white supremacists there. So our ancestors are in there.
Yeah, it's a whole town under the water.
There's a whole town under there.
That's one of those black towns that were destroyed by the white supremacists via flood. And so, yeah, man, it's always a lot of freak deaths, weird deaths and accidents that happen in the lake, around the lake, near the lake. And so, yeah, man, I was telling Nicey, when I first came down here, I didn't know nothing about the history over there. We went and hung out over there one summer. They got like Margaritaville and shit like that over there. And so after that, I think I was talking about it at the barbershop. Like, yeah, we went to Lake Lanier, whatever. And then that's when I learned about the history. Somebody in the barbershop was like, yo, you know about that place? And I was like, what? And I went and looked it up. And I was reading about it and shit. And I was like, hey, I ain't never going back over there.
No more.
I ain't never went back.
No more. It is funny when what's his name? Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. What is his name? The one who was talking about the go along, get along game. Ex-NBA player.
It's Kwame
Brown. I'm sorry, yeah, Kwame Brown. It's funny when he first became, got on social media and started doing his thing or whatever, and I was following him a lot. He had himself and his kids were out there on the boat, in Lake Lanier. And it wasn't until maybe later on that evening he did a broadcast, and he was like, yo, a lot of people been telling me about Lake Lanier and asking me why I had myself and my kids out there. I did some research. He was like, I ain't going back out there no more. He just learned, and this is like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, like you, a lot of people don't know, even black people.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to Tariq Nasheed. He did that broadcast the other day about the Foundation of Black American Hoodoo.
You're right.
And that was a heavy broadcast. That was a classic broadcast right there. A lot of information that I didn't know about.
Right. And the difference between hoodoo and voodoo. Because I thought it was the same. There's a difference between voodoo, hoodoo, root work. There is differences.
Right. And even some of the prominent root workers that he was talking about, people that I never heard of that I've been looking up ever since. Deep stuff, man. We got a lot of deep history here on this land, man. And there's definitely something going on over there by that lake, man. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely some strong spirits over there. So
right. And again, history here. Keywords, history here.
Yeah, a lot
history
of deep history
here. Because they always try to put us somewhere else as if, we only have history, elsewhere. Our history here.
Yeah, this wants to skip over the last 5, 6 years. To skip over that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going.
It's a lot to uncover. Just based off of here. That's 5 centuries worth of history that we don't know a lot about. That's not talked about a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, man. Stuff is
All
heavy.
right. Very heavy. So another story, I thought this was interesting. I actually found this one on Facebook and I put it over here. And it was like in one of those NBA thingies, whatever. So anyway, Not one eighth grade student from LeBron James I Promise School has passed a math test since 2020.
I didn't
Not
read.
with all them white folks that was up there that's running that school.
I didn't read this article. I want to see the details on this. This is
Yeah. One of LeBron James' greatest facets is his philanthropic nature. James has made a conscious effort to give back to his community. Perhaps his most important project is the I Promise School, which provides education for underprivileged children for minority communities. But a recent story reveals some concerns about the school. A report revealed that students from the eighth grade of the I Promise School have not passed the Ohio State math test in several years. One board member questioned how that could be possible, as it is highly unusual for students in their age group to have such a poor result. Not one in 3 years, question mark. It is discouraging. It should be noted that the school's goal is to serve as an intervention for the lowest performing students in the state, but this result is unusual. On top of that, some of the largest demographics in their school are performing far below state levels. Akron, Ohio Public School Board president shared his concerns too. For me as a board member, I just think about all the resources that were provided, and I'm just disappointed that I don't think it doesn't appear like we're seeing the kind of change that we would like to see. And you guys can read more.
yeah,
Obviously, it's a long article, but you guys can read more. But the children are not performing well. And I'm wondering, a lot of times they say that children do not perform well when there's large classroom sizes, because sometimes children do need that more one-on-one time with their teachers as much as possible. I would like to know, how large obviously the classrooms are, and also if the parents are also getting involved, because the teachers can only do so much. A
yeah.
lot of the
This
learning has to be at home. I don't think that's LeBron's fault. He
no,
poured the
no, but
resources into the school.
right. They got to use his name for the headlines. You know
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree with you. You know what I mean? Because this goes to show that it starts at home.
Hmm.
It starts at home, and so if you're gonna do these type of programs, it's noble either way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Nobody. We're gonna talk about that too, even with the Jaylen Brown story. You know what I'm saying? And even some of the stuff that's going on with Ice Cube. I feel like sometimes we're a little bit overly harsh when it doesn't go exactly how we think it should go.
Hmm.
But when somebody's doing something, you still got to give them their props and give them their credit. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
but it has to be a community effort, and it's gonna have to start at home. And we have to be paying attention to what's going on with our children and putting our energy and focus and pouring into them. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that they succeed and they are successful, especially when there are opportunities like that being created for them. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that they're prepared to take full advantage of the said opportunity. But not one, that's a little strange. I feel like there may even be some meddling, some corruption, some what do you call it? Um, sabotage going
I
on
agree.
systematically, because not one, that's very strange to me. Now, come on now.
But
You know,
also,
I
you
know
know,
what's going on, because I know some of us that come from the worst of the worst conditions. You know what I'm saying? Parents on drugs, ain't no dad around, kids raising themselves.
mhm,
And, some of us still perform well, even under those circumstances. So not one
not
out of
one.
hundreds or thousands of students.
A whole eighth grade class, or
That's
all the
very
eighth
strange.
grade students. Right.
But what you was going to say,
That's
though?
weird. I was also gonna say, like, I personally don't understand what you're supposed to change as the I Promise. They use the minority, name. Basically, I'm gonna say he was trying to build that school for us, right? He just says minority to make it sound right. That's what I'm assuming. But all the staff is still white, right? So if you want our children to perform at a high level, then we need teachers and staff that also look like us and care about us, because unfortunately, they're there for their job, and their job is to maintain white supremacy.
Right.
Period. So that has to also be mixed up too. Not saying they can't work there, but from the photo that I saw, there's not any black staff, like seriously. So
Wow.
what do you expect black children to do? They need teachers, especially black men teachers, I would say more than the women, to help them along the way. They need someone that looks like them and also really cares about themselves.
And so that even furthers my suspicion that there may be some type of sabotage going on.
Right.
Not 1 in 3 years.
In 3 years, and all the teachers are Caucasian, mainly women.
That doesn't make sense to me. Y'all got a bunch of Karens running that school.
Right.
Something's up. Our kids are not dumb like that.
Elementary genocide, as our brother Raheem said. So, sabotage. We're gonna go with that. We don't know, but we're gonna go with that. Allegedly, right?
Shout out to Sammy Foster, Melanin on Cole, Virgo Venom. I see y'all in the building.
What's up, y'all?
Appreciate y'all tapping in with us.
Yeah. So we all also know that Russia right now is, the enemy, the devil. Biden is sending all this money to help Ukraine and all this stuff. But I have to give credit where credit is due. When someone does something right, whether we like that person or not, right? You have to, give them credit where it's due. So Vladimir Putin has forgiven $23 billion in debt owed by African countries. Y'all, this is the enemy.
Not only did he forgive the debt that they owed, but he also gave them some more money.
He gave them $90 billion. He gave them $90 million for development.
So y'all don't owe me nothing. Here go another $90 million. Build some shit up over here that we could use, so we could do business with y'all. I need y'all to be strong and healthy so that I can have a strong ally. You know what I'm saying? Remember, family, we have no permanent enemies. We have no permanent friends. We only have permanent interests.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, the people who are made out to be the worst of the worst as far as our open enemies, like the right wingers, the Trump crowd, the Putins, and all of these people, a lot of times we find common ground more with these people than the so-called liberals who are supposed to be our friends. You know what I'm saying?
But there's only people that are ready to think freely and not have people think for them are ready to hear that.
Right. I mean, shit. What we supposed to do as black people, as melanated people? Are we not? Is Africa not supposed to accept this gesture? Are they not supposed to align themselves with this man now? Are they not supposed to do that?
Remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, or if you will, the Africans that were there, the Ukrainians were telling them, no, y'all can't leave. Ukrainians first. Get y'all asses at the back of the bus, the back of the line, even if you in the front. Right? You know what I'm saying?
And remember, Russia, Putin in particular, was criticizing Ukraine about being a haven for neo-Nazis.
For Nazis, yep.
Being a rest haven for neo-Nazis. And they was over there, like you said, slapping those Africans around, kicking them off the trains and stuff. They were stranded out there, couldn't get back to their countries, all of that stuff. And now look, here go Putin. Like, yo, let's do business. And that's what it's about, man. When it comes to the race thing, and I want to talk about that with the Ice Cube thing too. It's not about, people liking each other and hugging and holding hands and all of that.
It's about business.
You know what I'm saying? It's business.
America is a corporation. We hear a lot of people say that, but then when it's time to do business, all of a sudden people want to be in their feelings and not in the business aspect of it. Get out your feelings.
Thank you, Nikki the God. Shout out to Nikki the God in the building.
What's up, Nikki?
Everybody make sure that y'all like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But yeah, man. Shit. Shout out to Russia.
Shout out to Russia. Like I said, listen. And also, speaking of Russia, Russia also banned sexual reassignment surgeries over there as well. Listen. I can't say I'm mad at it. And for me, I don't care what anyone does, who to each his own. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to police anybody's body, police how anyone feels. Where I do raise my concern, and also where I don't like, is when it's being pushed on children, or they're allowing children to make those types of decisions before. And people may say 18. I'm going to say before 21, maybe even 25, because
Yeah,
we're still getting to know
develop.
ourselves at that point. Yeah, we're still getting to know who we are at that point. We're still becoming, we're not who we're supposed to be yet at 18. You're still developing, so I'm not mad at Russia for doing that. And I think that America should also adopt something here where it at least should be age appropriate. And I don't think 18 is the right age, because most of the time you're freshly out of high school. You haven't gone through college yet. You haven't had your college experience yet. None of those things. So shout out to Russia again.
America ain't about to do that, man. And
No.
they busy meddling in other people's affairs, trying to buck break them and get them to go along
Right.
with all this weird stuff
Right.
that going on.
Right. And speaking of the trans situation, we have another story over here. So a baby killing trans that's on a death row inmate in California. So here in my state, women's prison, to get boob job funded by taxpayers.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too. That was crazy.
Listen,
What the
yeah,
hell?
you gonna keep that chest, buddy.
Read it
We're
again,
not
though.
doing
Read it
that.
again. Read that again.
So it's a baby killing. Okay, a baby killing trans death row inmate in California's women's prison to get boob job funded by taxpayers. That's the headline.
So this is a trans person who
Mhm.
killed his own kids, right?
When did he? Let me see.
I think it was his own kids that he
It
killed.
was a man who beat two of his own infants to death is now allegedly waiting on breast implants after his transfer to a California women's prison. Jessica Marie Hahn,
Referred to
who
a women's prison.
right, who went by Jason Michael Mann, previously started identifying as a woman in 2019, y'all. So just a few years.
When did the crime happen?
It doesn't say on here when the crime happened, unfortunately.
'Cause I'm trying to think.
I don't think.
Did he start identifying as a woman while he was in prison?
Yeah, in 2019.
So he was already convicted of this murder before he started identifying as a woman then.
That's what I'm assuming.
And so he started identifying as a woman in prison, got transferred to a woman's prison on death row, using taxpayer dollars to get a damn breast job.
Yeah,
Is that
first of
what's
all, what you need some titties for? What do you need some titties for? First of all, you're on death row. You're gonna die. So, that's ultimately, unless there's some type of appeal, we're killing you, right? The state is going to, get rid of you. They're gonna unalive you. So why do you need titties? Titties is for breastfeeding. And also for your significant other to play with, if that's, But what do he need titties for? In prison, on death row. Death row inmates here in California only get out for 1 hour a day to go out and get a little exercise in a cage, for 1 hour out of 24 hours a day. 1 hour. What does this person need titties for?
Again, this is why I like living in a red state. Listen, man. A lot of these hardcore white supremacists, they're not having stuff like this.
Mm-mm.
And when you in these liberal states, the white liberals are on board with all this stuff, and black people are too afraid to stand up against shit like this. So
Right.
I prefer to live around the hardcore white supremacists, because at least the things that we agree on, they're going to show out. They're going
Right.
to show up at the school board meetings. They're going to do everything that need to be done to shut all of this type of bullshit down, and I'm with them.
All the way on this.
Tell me what you
All the way. And then again, when you start talking about reparations, though, right? Where are all the white supremacists and the reparations deniers at when funds like this are coming out of your tax dollars? Because you love to talk about where the money is going to come from for reparations, to repair Black America, but you are silent as hell when you have baby killers on death row on titties funded by us.
Facts.
Makes no sense. Anywho, so another story. This is from AP.com. civil rights groups condemn Soul Fest concerts at Georgia Park with a giant Confederate carving. Lord, so
So
this is
y'all know
there
that
now.
Stone Mountain. Y'all know that Stone Mountain, right?
What? That's crazy. So, Atlanta AP civil rights groups and other advocates denounce a concert series with black performers dubbed Soul Fest that is being held at a Georgia Park rip, rippled with Confederate imagery, including a giant carving of Confederate leaders. Why do we have Confederate carvings here in America when the Confederates were fighting against the Union? That doesn't. I understand it's white on white crime, you know what I'm saying? But why do they have any types of statues or carvings and stuff? What are people supposed to celebrate?
This shit is actually federally protected, I believe. This site is protected. It's a historical protected site. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to understand from this story there's certain civil rights groups that were condemning the Soul Fest. Who's putting on the Soul Fest?
Mm.
Because I seen some of they said they contacted some of the performers and they were saying, well, they're under contract and so they can't pull out. You know, they got to do it. Who's putting the damn Soul Fest on? Right? Because this is feeding and funding, you know, this whole Confederate
Right.
community over here in Georgia, down here in Georgia. And so they're trying to say like, you know, our music brings people together. So we using the Soul Fest, the Soul Fest to sound what the hell they trying to do? Sing and dance away the racism?
Right.
They're trying to sing and it says normalize and sanitize the racist, hateful, and disrespectful presence of the war criminals and satanic past of the Confederacy. How are you going to do that with a concert, fam?
Right. I mean,
Make it
make sense. But, you know, this is, I don't know what you want to call it. The music can't bring people together in front of an icon of Confederacy, he said. And I don't know. So, for those that don't know, Stone Mountain Park, just outside of Atlanta, is the Ku Klux Klan marks. It's where the Ku Klux Klan marked its rebirth in 1915.
They celebrating the hate that comes along with the Confederacy, right?
Right. It says here in the article, the park has taken steps in recent years to try and soften its Confederate legacy and promote itself as a family site amid declining revenue. But civil rights groups have said the moves fall way short of what's needed. Soften?
No. They've been trying to rebrand the white supremacy. They've been trying to rebrand themselves because a lot of people and a lot of groups haven't been fucking with that site. They haven't been holding festivals and different events there. And so the economy is shot. And so who's putting on this Soul Fest?
Right.
Who's in charge of this Soul Fest?
Let me see if I can Google that. Hold on.
Because most people have been on code with not booking stuff over there. You know what I mean? And some people, I know some people down here, you know, I don't live too far from Stone Mountain either. And I know a lot of people who say they don't want to go there, period, just because of that. You know,
because of the history.
It's kind of a like mixed thing. I know a lot of black people still go there and climb Stone Mountain and all that. I've done it, but I know people who just refuse to go over there, period. Shout out Maxwell Jenkins. I see you in the chat, King.
So it says on here, I just put on here who organized Soul Fest. It says Soul Fest co-founder Dan Russell has been involved in the music industry for years. Who the hell was Dan Russell? Let me find out who Dan Russell is.
You look him up.
Yeah, let's look up Dan Russell.
Hold on a second, y'all.
Yeah, sometimes we just gotta, you know, find out who's doing what and why. Dan Russell.
It's a Christian music festival. Soul Fest is a Christian music festival. Okay, as soon as I go,
it all adds up now. It all adds.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
It
on,
all
hold on.
adds up now.
Hold on, look at this. Hold on, look at this. This the website right here. Hold on. I see a lot of. I don't see no Negroes. I don't see no Negroes. Ain't no Negroes in this picture, on stage or in the crowd. It looked like a damn Confederate rally.
Right.
Why is it called Soul Fest?
Well, if it's a Christian, then you know your soul and the Lord. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Oh, is that what they mean?
I'm assuming.
Is that how they hijacking our vernacular and all that? Oh, is that what they mean?
Yeah.
Let me see.
And he's a Caucasian.
Festival lineup. Let me see. Let me see who they got on here. I'm just checking out who they got.
Here's the staff.
Wait a minute. These white folks.
There. Yeah.
Oh, these white folks doing this.
Now look. Click on where it says the staff. Look down. You see Darren Plight, the Peace Patrol lead, or is that a person of color?
I see one.
One out of the whole thing. That's
This
your
guy right
minority.
here.
That's
They go Dan Russell in the middle. He looked like the dude from Breitbart. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot his damn name. The one that was Trump's right hand man for a minute before they fell out. That's who he looked like. Oh, okay. I thought it was Negroes doing this. I was confused when I first read it.
This is embarrassing.
Oh, okay. It's white folks. Okay, well, white folks doing what white folks do.
We do. Right.
Nothing to see
Playing
here.
both sides of the argument. including the NAACP.
Nothing to see here at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing on. Moving on. So did you want to play this one? African Americans, you're too busy denying who you are. I can't hear you. There you go.
I was talking to my son real quick.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you talking about the African sister, right?
Yeah, Dr. Africana.
Let me play that video for y'all. Yeah, let's break this down. Hold on. Pause that. Unmute it. All right. Let me play this for y'all. And I've seen this sister, around. She's familiar to me. I've seen a lot of her videos and stuff like that. And I kind of like her. I don't really think she's necessarily like on a coon train or a tether or anything, but some of what she's saying here I got a problem with. Some of it's cool, but let's check it out.
Ian is calling on his children to come home and for a change, build the Africa that you want. The colonizers have been building the Africa that they want. The game is up. You see, you don't go to China and find Black people driving the Chinese development agenda. Go to Africa and find non-Africans driving the African continental development agenda.
What is that?
No more shall we continue to be ignorant. Our eyes are open. We know our Africa. We are going to reconnect with our roots. African Americans, you must understand there is a void that is deep in each and everyone's subconscious. It is.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna let it continue, but let's break some of that down.
Yeah, I'm.
What you wanted to say? Go ahead.
Whose fault is that? About, as far as them letting the, Chinese come over there and develop that, what they want to develop. These are things that you guys willfully did, and we have to say it. Africans sold us here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to acknowledge that, and I don't think that it's fair necessarily. And again, if you guys have rolled out the carpet with us as you have done with these other groups, we probably would have came over there to do business. for me, home is obviously here, but we wouldn't have a problem with coming over there doing business if we felt like, that's something that we could do, perhaps if we had that type of connection with them, if they've made it easy for us, because again, we are oppressed here. Don't let Oprah and them fool y'all. We ain't got it like that over here.
Right. And I agree with you. And I wouldn't necessarily, again, of being now familiar with her, I wouldn't necessarily put it on her, because I don't think, she doesn't really have that mindset. She's always been on the get these colonizers up out of here type of way. You know what I'm saying? She has that type of energy, as far as I know about her. I've always seen her speak against the colonization, the recolonization, the neo-colonialism that's going on. I've always heard her speaking against that sort of thing and talking about, Pan-African concepts, getting rid of those borders, connecting as African people. She always refers to us as either Africans or Black people. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, with this particular speech here, I don't understand when people start talking about this, why the energy is always directed at us.
At us. Why do we have to be Captain Save-A-Ho?
It's y'all don't never say nothing about all the Black people all in the Caribbean. They African too.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't never direct it at them and tell them they need to come back home and rebuild Africa. All of the Black people in South America and Brazil and all of that, I don't never direct that energy to them. It's always directed at foundational Black Americans, like we're supposed to be, like you said, the captain for the whole damn globe.
Right. And isn't Brazil like the second largest, Black continent, basically, outside of Africa?
The number one. It's more Africans in Brazil than any other place in the world outside of the African continent. And also, don't y'all have enough people there already to do the things that you're talking about? Get your people on code.
Right.
Get your people on code. Don't worry about us. We're over here in our homeland, minding our foundational Black American business, getting our stuff together over here, getting our people on code over here so that we can get our weight up and have strength. If y'all do the same with your people where you're at, then we can connect from a point of strength. We can make connections from a point of strength. Like, okay, we got our weight up. We got some resources. Y'all got resources over here. Y'all got rid of, the Asians and the white supremacists from out y'all business over there. Let's connect with each other and do some business.
Right.
But we're not about to come over there and start slapping the Asians around for y'all, start getting the white supremacists about to mix for y'all. Y'all got to handle that.
Basically, they want us to come do all the heavy lifting. That's what it sounds like. Come on over here, do this heavy lifting, even though you guys haven't gotten what you need from, your own homeland yet. Drop that, put that on hold and come over here and help us. No, we got to handle our own business right now. And like you said, there's more of you there than there is us here. Allegedly, we're only 13-14% of the population here. Right. You're the majority there, so you guys should already have that shit handled and then be over here helping us. Technically.
Yeah, 40 million of us over here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got billions of Black people over there. Get it together. Get it together, and then we could work. We would love to see it. We would love to see it. You know what I'm saying? But all of this premature energy for us, like we supposed to stop everything we got going on and come over there. Like, no, we're not in denial of who we are.
At all.
We're acknowledging our unique heritage, our unique history that we've established here on this land, which, you know what I'm saying, we're going to continue to do that. But we also acknowledge our ancient African history as well. We acknowledge that. It's not, we're not in denial of who we are, and that's the problem. No, a lot of the people over there are in denial of who they are. You got a lot of dark-skinned British people over there, a lot of dark-skinned French people over there. You know what I'm saying?
And let's not forget the Ethiopians, who call themselves, for the most part, when they come over here, they mark white. Black as hell.
Right.
Big black shiny head, talking about white.
And you got a lot of foundational Black Americans who are Pan-Africans who go over there and try to build and get finessed. We see that all the time.
Ain't been successful yet.
They go over there and try to connect with y'all and try to build with y'all, and y'all busy trying to get over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Telling us we need to come over there, come home. Yet they're on the next flight, leaving home, trying to get over here where we at. Like, make it make sense.
Right. Right. So, Dr. Arikana, you know what I'm saying? I got some respect for you, but you know,
That ain't it.
this ain't gonna work out.
That ain't gonna work.
But let her finish though. False. That's false. She said in this country, with the exception of the Native Americans, everyone is a foreigner. Now, when she says Native Americans, she's referring to the red
ones.
Mongolian Indians that we historically know as Native Americans. She says they're the only ones here that are not foreigners. Foundational Black Americans, we are not foreigners. We are indigenous to the United States of America because there was no United States of America until we built it. Do y'all understand that? Even, let's take away the fact that many Black people were already here on this land before the slave trade began. Let's take that fact. It's a fact. But let's just take that out of the equation and let's pretend that all of us were brought over here on a slave ship as the false history, the false narrative of history is usually told. Let's pretend that's the truth, right? Even if all of us were brought here on a slave ship, there still was no United States of America before we built it. And so we are not, immigrants.
Right.
We are not foreigners. We are not immigrants. We are indigenous to the United States of America because we built it. We created it. We invented it.
And y'all sold us here.
We are literally the foundation. So don't put us in no immigrant status. Don't put us in no foreigner status. We are not that. We are very unique. We are very unique people. This is our country. This is our land. You know what I'm saying? And yes, we're connected to the globe. Like I always say, you know what I'm saying? It's not even just about Africa, being indigenous to Africa or whatever the case may be. We're indigenous to the planet. There's no place that you could go on this planet and not find melanated people who are the aboriginals. Everywhere that you go, the further you dig into history, you're going to find us. That includes Europe. And so America is no different. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the history that us as foundational Black Americans, we come out of. So to say everybody here besides the red natives are foreigners, that's just false. That's just not true.
Who told her that?
They got to do away with the tribalism over there first and foremost. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
We are the ones with the capital. Not really.
Not really. No.
I know what you're saying, you know, because they say we the richest Africans on the planet. You know what I'm saying? As a group.
Akon.
But there's no infrastructure in place for us to really seize the power of that so-called, well, it's not really wealth. You know what I'm saying? We're the highest earners. We're the highest income earners out of all the African people on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
No wealth.
But there's no way to harness it and transfer it into wealth because there's no infrastructure around it. That's, y'all know how it goes. The dollar leaves seconds after it gets into our hands, it leaves the community.
Right.
So it's not really powerful. It's not really wealth.
It's not.
A lot of them don't even know their history. It was African brother that said he learned history from Hidden Colors. Yes, that's true too.
Right.
That is very true. It was foundational Black Americans that educated the world about Africa for the most part. For the most part, it's foundational Black Americans that taught the world the real history of Africa.
And honestly, most of our scholars are Black, scholars, even though Pan-Africanists are FBAs too. I mean, there's some, Kwame Ture, who's Caribbean, but for the most part, majority of our scholars, our Pan-African scholars are FBAs.
Yeah.
We've been teaching.
Right. We are not immigrants, sister. Let me let her finish. She had a lot to say.
And everybody has their roots outside the United States. And the rest of the races are connected to their roots, with the exception of the African Americans. You're too busy running away from your roots. You're busy denying who you are. Well, guess what? It is what it is. You are an African, and Africa is home. And the sooner you wake up and realize and accept that Africa is home, the sooner you're going to fill that void.
Africa is the throne, but planet Earth is our home. We indigenous to the globe, let it be known.
For as long as that voice is in you, you're always going to be like a ship without an anchor. The African Union is calling on its children to come home and for a change.
So where are we supposed? Which country is home? Because Africa is a continent with damn near 60 countries in it. So which one is supposed to be our so-called home? We don't even know. Most of the countries and territories and empires that Black people were sold into slavery from don't even exist anymore.
Right.
Y'all are blocking each other from crossing certain borders over there on the continent. So where's this so-called home?
This is what if isms to me. This is just babble at this point. It sounds good. It's to jog at Black people's emotions and stuff, but it's a no for me. Fix your homeland. Once you guys get your weight up, we'll happily come over there and do business with you. Right now, we're trying to get our weight up at home, which is here. No disrespect.
No disrespect at all. Just speaking truth to power.
Build the Africa that you want. The colonizers have been building the Africa that they want. The game is up. You see, you don't go to China and find Black people driving the Chinese development.
Okay, so that started.
Because they won't let you, because they're gatekeeping their land, as y'all should have did. Like, come on now.
And they ain't got shit that nobody want to run over there for.
Exactly. Shit, they don't want to be there either.
All right.
Anywho, before we get into our main topic, I wanted to just touch on this story. This is searching for a fortress built by people who escaped slavery. I don't know if anyone saw that, but it says on a rainy morning in March, George Dawes Green, a 70-year-old novelist and founder of the storytelling nonprofit The Moth, arrived at Millstone Landing, about 20 miles north of Savannah, Georgia, on the South Carolina side of the Savannah River. He and 13 others were preparing to look for remnants of a secret fortress built in the 80s by Maroons, people who'd escaped slavery to live in the wilderness. The term derives from the Spanish word Cameroon, which means unruly or fierce. Maroons existed in the South from the beginning of slavery, and according to historical accounts, the population of this encampment, around 100, dwarfed that of any other known group. The fortress, who's said to have been uniquely defended with a wall, weapons, and sentries, its residents had lived there and in another nearby camp for years until white militias finally found sites and burned them to the ground. Green had first read about the fortress decades ago last year and published The Kingdom of Savannah, a thriller involving a search for its ruins. So basically, he's talking about, looking for, searching for the fortress built by the people who escaped slavery, i.e. the Maroons. Tariq obviously has a new movie out right now. What is it called? Because my brain farts.
American Maroon.
American Maroons, yes. So if you haven't already, I recommend you guys getting that, because it's a dope movie. It's long, though, but it is dope.
It don't seem that long.
I feel like it was long there.
It was nice.
It flows nicely, but I think because when we first saw it, or when I first saw it, I did look at it at home too. But seeing it for the first time, just that first experience, because we did it there at the Hidden History Museum, and everything that was going on throughout the day, because we were eating, everybody chopping it up, having a good time, all that stuff. It was long, maybe because it was just a long day. But if you do look at it at home with your family and stuff, it doesn't seem like it's that long because it captures you so much. You're like literally feeding off that information. You're excited to see it, excited to watch it. So it doesn't feel that long, but in that moment it was long for us because it was a long day.
Yeah, to me it was the easiest movie to watch out of all of his movies. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was longer than everything, to me it was easier to watch. Like Hidden Colors, I would have to break it down into segments to really get through it because they cover so much subject wise in the Hidden Color series, but in the American Maroon, it's dealing with one subject. It's not all over the place, so it's a little bit more easier to digest, in my opinion. But yeah, this article it just goes to shows that us on the grassroots are really leading and driving the conversations because mainstream media wasn't talking about no Maroons and no goddamn what was going on in these swamps and all of this stuff. They wasn't talking about this ever.
They ain't talking how we talking, nigga.
And so now they're forced to have to acknowledge what we've been talking about. Otherwise, they run the risk of losing legitimacy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important. We think a lot of stuff that we do is not really as relevant or it's not as powerful, you know what I'm saying, as what they do because they have these machines, they have these apparatus to, boost their signal all over the planet. But what we do is very important because when we start putting a lot of this truth out there that's irrefutable, then when people, the more people that start picking up on what we're putting down, it delegitimizes the mainstream media, the traditional educational systems and all of that stuff. And the people who are charged with educating the world and giving information to the world, how come you guys aren't talking about this? How come I never heard this before? People start asking those type of questions and that kills their credibility. So they have to start speaking some truth to power.
But what about DeSantis? DeSantis is like, look, we shutting this shit down because they're waking up the woke. You know what I'm saying? So they really trying
I like that. I like that. I like DeSantis doing what he's doing, and I prefer the white supremacists to move the way that he's moving because that wakes us up. That keeps us on our toes and makes us know what needs to be done. It deprives people in Black society of just acting like everything is fine, just going along to get along and, keeping your head buried in the sand. It deprives a lot of our people of the ability to do that. You know what I mean? And so I prefer it.
Yep, I agree. It forces us to like, well, what is he trying to have? What is he trying to hide? Those that were not trying to dig into their history. Well, what is he trying to hide? Now that I hope that lights a fire under the asses of those that weren't, looking to know their history to start learning. And again, for the parents that send their children off to school just to be taught by the school or basically to be indoctrinated by the school, I hope that gives you the incentive and motivation to sit with your children and have those talks and learn together. That was the best thing that could have happened to me. And again, thank God I was able to teach my children, before all this new stuff, because obviously they've been indoctrinating our kids, but this LGBT, stuff, transgender, all this bull crap. I'm happy that I was able to teach and it was a bonding time for me I'm glad that, I got my awakening or calling when I did, because it did force me to sit with my kids, and we all enjoyed it. We all enjoy it. My son loves arguing with his friends about history right now. He feels like he has a certain level of power that he didn't have before, because now he knows how to debunk certain talking points off the rip. You know what I'm saying? And so he feels a level of, power and control over the narrative.
Right.
No one can tell him anything. No, that's not how that went. No, my people did X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So, and I love that about him. I love that about our talks even now. And I love the confidence that he has as a young Black male, being able to debunk certain things, because a lot of his peers that look like him don't know this information. Their families are not sitting down though and having these talks. They're not sitting down, and listening to a Tariq. They're not sitting down listening to, Sincere Love the Godcast.
Sincere Love the Godcast. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so I wanna talk about some of the comments that Ice Cube made on Tucker Carlson,
Oh yeah.
and then we could do the Robert Kennedy Jr. what he was saying on Math Hoffa podcast, and then we'll get into the main topic. But I can't really play the videos. We're gonna get a copyright strike if we play these videos. So, but this is some of the footage from when Ice Cube was sitting down with Tucker Carlson. A lot of people had a problem with him talking to Tucker Carlson, period, riding
Yeah, I
around.
thought that was weird.
A lot of people was criticizing him about, bringing Tucker Carlson through South Central and all of that stuff. But I ain't have a problem with none of that.
At all.
But-
And what's her name?
You sent me this video the other day, and there was a particular part in the video where they were talking about race. Tucker Carlson was like, we've been talking for, I forgot how long it was, an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long they were talking up to that point. And he was like, you haven't mentioned race yet. And so the way he posed the question was kind of like, do you think the whole race issue is being put in our face by the mainstream, by the left wingers, and from his vantage point, just to keep the conversation going, and it's not really as big as they're trying to make it seem? And Cube kind of agreed with him, like, yeah, I agree with you. Everything is not about race, he was saying. And he started talking about how, all of us, regardless to what race you are, you have people who are the same race as you that you don't rock with, and you got people from other races that you do rock with harder than you rock with some of the people in your own race. So he was talking about, again, people liking each other, people being able to get along a certain way. He was talking about race from that standpoint and talking about how everything is not about race, because sometimes you could be cool with a white person or cool with somebody else from another racial group or whatever the case may be. And there's some people from your own race that you don't rock with like that.
Right.
Which is true, but that has nothing to do with racism.
Right. And that's why I was disagreeing with him, because we're in the conditions that we are in here as Black people in America, foundational Black Americans specifically, based off race. We are oppressed based off Blackness, our race, our foundational Black American lineage. So it is about race. It is. Everything is about race when it comes to these white supremacists.
Everything is about race because all areas of people activity is dominated by the white supremacists. And they weaponize everything that they put their hands on. So everything is about race. But I'm looking for this video that I think you shared it the other day from my page, and I meant to put it in here, but let me go to your page. No, let me go to yours. I think it's in the message that you sent me. I think. Hold on a second, family. Let me find this video. If I
Take
can.
your time. Go out here. You know where she at. Close my door.
I think you put it in your story, but it's gone now.
And what was it?
It was from my page. It was a video with Dr. Anderson. I think you shared it to your story,
Let me see.
but it's gone now. But you'll see it if you look inside your archives.
Let me look.
I want to play that video just so.
Dr. Anderson?
Yeah. Damn, I put it in here, but I didn't. But anyway, Dr. Anderson was given the proper definition of what racism is. Because again, Cube was talking about people liking each other and being who you can get along with and who you rock with and all of that stuff. Oh, I didn't even know I was on page. Who you can rock with and all of that stuff. And that's not really what it's about. So based on what Cube was actually saying, I could agree with what he's saying, but it wasn't putting things in the proper context. And we have to be able to compartmentalize, when we having these discussions. The way the question was posed by Tucker Carlson, I understand why Cube responded to it the way that he did, just by the way that the question was posed. But at the same time, it's on us. The onus is on us to understand what an interviewer like Tucker Carlson is trying to do when he poses a question the way that he did.
Right.
We have to understand where he's coming from and how it's going to come across, instead of just being, having your guard down and just answering the question that he asked, just straightforward. You have to play chess a little bit, and I don't think Cube was necessarily playing chess. I believe he had his guard down, and he just took the question in good faith and responded to it that way, not understanding the trick that was behind it. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Cube. You know what I'm saying? I just disagree with what he said and the way that he responded to that question. It's not the way that I would have handled it. But we've been saying on this channel for weeks, every time we talk about Ice Cube, because y'all know he's been on this podcast tour, so he's been in the news cycle ongoing for the last few weeks. And so I've always said, even though I respect Ice Cube and I'm behind a lot of what he's doing, at the same time, I still understand that he's not really one of us as far as the B1 philosophy goes.
Right.
He's not really gamed up as far as where we're at in 2023. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's not like off cold or nothing like that. He's not doing anything detrimental. He's not doing anything detrimental. We just don't agree on every single thing point for point, and that's okay. That don't mean you got to try to get mad at Cube and try to drag Cube. There's plenty of coons out there that we could drag.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because we disagree with Cube on a specific point doesn't mean he got to get drugged. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that.
That was the part that disturbed me more than anything. I saw it, on Facebook, Twitter, all the social media. Why he go on, Tucker Carlson? Well, first of all, you're going to talk to whoever can signal boost the message, right? And these people have the numbers, right? And they have they have a different reach, right? Than say New Black Media. New Black Media is, we are definitely controlling the narrative. We see that a lot, and we definitely have them on alert. However, they can also signal boost the message, whatever that message may be that he's trying to, boost. I don't see a problem with going on there. I would go on Tucker Carlson right now to talk about reparations and white supremacy and all that stuff. Why wouldn't I?
Right. Cube made a great point about that. You know what I'm saying? He's, first of all, a lot of the platforms that people think he should be going on have him banned.
Oprah.
They don't even want to talk to him.
Names.
Yeah.
I heard them name names. Did y'all not hear that part? So the same people that are mad just seeing him on there, that you actually listen to him, he named names. He wasn't scared.
Yeah. He said Oprah wouldn't have him on. The View. I think
The View.
They didn't want to have him on. Some of these people, they don't want to talk to him simply because they don't agree with his politics, which is trash. And another good point that he made is enemies talk all the time.
Right.
Enemies talk
all the time.
They sit down and they handle things diplomatically. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said earlier, we have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests. And so, you're supposed to go on Tucker Carlson. As long as you stand on what you're standing on. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to go sit down with Trump or whoever, as long as you're standing on what you're supposed to stand on. And Cube is doing that. So shout out to Ice Cube.
And again, he said, also mentioned that, the Biden administration still has not spoken to him. They sent someone to talk to him. That kind of went on, he said, for about a year or so. But when it comes to actually doing something, nothing was done. And that person that they sent to him is no longer on the Biden administration to this day. So go figure.
Right. Melanin on code. Right. We can't agree with him point for point, but he has the best interests of our people at hand. And so that's cool. Let Cube do what he do. You know what I'm saying?
Who agrees with anyone, though, point for point, for the most part? Like, come on. There are some people that we ride for that we don't agree with every freaking point. Come on. That's stupid and immature.
That's very immature. That's very, very immature. Because if you just sit here agreeing with something that everybody say, that means you don't think for yourself. Period.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? But if you just sit here agreeing with something that everybody say, that means you don't think for yourself. Period. Because if you just sit here agreeing with something that everybody say, that means you don't think for yourself. Period. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I wasn't mad at Cube for going on there one, and I wasn't really mad at what he was saying as far as everything not being about race. I just think it wasn't really put in context the way that it should have been for clarity. I think by him responding to that question the way that he did, the Tucker Carlsons and people of that ilk are able to use his soundbite
Right. For what they want.
for their purpose. Yeah. He gave him that. He gave him that soundbite, which is not good. And it also gives the coons who are mad at Ice Cube ammunition as well. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
one thing about Cube is he's heavy on he's definitely heavy on Twitter, and when he sees something, he will clear it up. So I expect him to go in on someone that tries to say anything, which he has since the Tucker Carlson thing, because people have been saying things, at coming at him. So he responds.
Mhm.
So, and I appreciate that too, because he really doesn't have to. He doesn't owe anyone an explanation technically, but he does clarify it, so
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
we
Indeed.
still rocking with Cube. He's still trying to do what is right and trying to get something, for Black America. At the end of the day, like he said, he's not a politician at all. He's not trying to be a politician. But when you see an opportunity for your people, you see that your people has not, gotten anything from any of these politicians. I think a lot of the criticism also was the fact that he did criticize Obama for not doing anything for foundational Black Americans. So they didn't like that either. And so your core, Democratic shields, they're the ones who's really doing the attacks. And I make sure I comment too. Oh, the shields are out again.
Mm-hmm.
The shields are out again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are about to come up on another election cycle. I feel like there's a lot of people that we used to see, or we see every election cycle that we have not seen
They come
recently,
out hiding.
like
They-
Taylor. They're planning, they're strategizing behind the scenes because they too quiet. So now, once it does pop, we should be ready and expect, the BS that they're about to throw at us, because that's their job. Roland Martin has a job to
Right.
sell his people out. Taylor Mack, I don't know if we his people, but he has a job, to sell us out. He's been mighty, mighty quiet. What they planning?
So now, yeah, what I like to see, Ice Cube chop it up with Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed,
Absolutely.
or TD Hip Hop. Sincere Love the Godcast. Of course, we would love to see that. We would love to see that. But I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him for going the route that he's choosing to go.
My thing is, how do we know he's not? How do we know
we
he's
haven't
not?
seen him.
We haven't seen him. Yeah. What I'm saying is, he's making his rounds. A lot of times, we don't know, when he did the Tucker Carlson interview until it dropped.
Right.
How do we know he's not? So I'm just sitting back. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're like, we're not going to say anything until it's time to drop it. Who knows? We don't know who he's reached out to in New Black Media, because he's shouted out Jason Black before.
Right. And he's chopped it up with Dr. Watkins before.
Exactly. So come on now. And also Dr. Watkins, I'll shout him out, because when it came to the contract for Black America, himself as well as Dr. Clark had a hand in writing that.
Right. Yeah.
So we can criticize again people on the off-code things that they do, the things that we disagree with. We don't have to agree with, but when they do something good, we're going to signal boost the good. Here.
Right.
Period.
Right. We read the entire contract with Black America. I ain't have a problem with nothing in it.
Nothing. It was very much on code and very specific. Very specific. And also, Trump took some parts of the contract for Black America and put it in his platinum plan. You may not like Trump. However,
he did more than Biden.
He did more than Biden. Period. He did more than Biden.
That's it. But let's talk about Robert F. Kennedy's appearance on Mav Hoffa's podcast. What's it called? My Expert Opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Math Hoffa has the podcast where he's in the barbershop. It's called My Expert Opinion. Robert F. Kennedy did an appearance on there. For those of you that don't know, Robert F. Kennedy, he's put his bid in for the presidential election. He's running for president. And they asked him about reparations on there. And he started explaining. Robert F. Kennedy started explaining and started telling a story about how his dad went to Brooklyn and he fell in love with the black community out there in Brooklyn.
I marched with Martin Luther King. That's basically.
And he noticed that there weren't many black businesses in the black community, and so he basically started talking about,
well, why not?
He wouldn't approve of cash payments as far as reparations, but he would approve on building institutions, giving business loans, and all of this other stuff that is not reparations. That's
How is the loan and reparations if I got to pay it back?
Exactly.
With interest.
Exactly. A loan can never be considered a form of reparations. If you want to talk about, if you're running for president and you have a plan that wants to address the black community specifically, foundational black Americans specifically, and you want to say, well, I want to do something that's going to give you guys access to capital as far as loans to start businesses, home loans, or something with education, or any of those things. If you want to do that, that's fine as a presidential candidate. That's fine if you want to implement that with your platform. Don't have a problem with it at all. But it's not reparations, though. We're not going to call it reparations. Once you start trying to put the reparations tag on it, you delegitimize what you're trying to do, because that looks like you're trying to undermine our reparations claim, right? So if you want to do those programs can be beneficial and they are fine to do, but we still going to need those reparations, though. And if you're not talking about cash payments, you're not talking about reparations. Not to say that reparations. Not to say that cash payments is the end all be all for reparations, but if it's not beginning with direct cash payments, then you're not talking about reparations. You're talking about something else.
You're talking about something else. And why is it that all these people are against reparations to us? And I'm talking about the direct cash payments, because I don't see these same folks doing interviews and podcasts and anything else talking about how much money is going out to these non-citizens. And that's Ukraine, that's still the illegal aliens, all of them. I don't care where they come from, all of them. No one is protesting all this free, all the free resources is going out to them, benefits that we don't even get. No one is protesting that. But anytime we talk about something specific and directly to foundational Black Americans, all of a sudden they do not want us to have a leg up economically. Why? Because they know that we're not going to F it up. They know we're not going to do that, because how many Black Wall Streets have we built? Hundreds. And the reason why you didn't see Black businesses in New York, boo, is because every time we do, it has been destroyed, boo, by your people. I'm sounding like Roland right now. Because they act like they're dumb. They act like they don't understand what occurred. You know what I'm saying? No, why this stuff doesn't exist.
Let me say this, though. He broke down exactly what occurred. He does understand fully how Black people got into the condition that we are in. He broke it down. He spoke truth to power about systematic racism and white supremacy and how we have been targeted specifically. He wasn't talking about minorities and people of color and all of that stuff. He diagnosed the problem exactly for what it is. So he's not clueless. He's not clueless.
And still against cash reparations.
That's the thing. And this is another thing that he said, which was very telling. He talked about how he was involved with the Native American Indian fairs for some time. I forgot, how much time he said he spent working with them with their reparations and how the money was going to be allocated from the casinos and all of this stuff. And you said you had some tribes who were against cash payments and they wanted to build institutions that would give out, loans to the community and, development and stuff like that for the tribe in general. And then you had other tribes who were for cash payments. He said the tribes that were against cash payments ended up thriving. You know what I'm saying? Their communities ended up thriving. They had a lot of development within their tribes, and the tribes that took the cash payments, it was a disaster, according to him. And so this was his justification for saying why he's against cash payments, because it's not going to work. But at the same time, he said also it would be more palatable for white people who are against it. It wouldn't be as polarizing if we said, you know, we were going to put the money in institutions. If we were going to take it out of a direct cash payment things, then white people wouldn't be so upset. More white people would go along.
Who gives a fuck about them?
That's number one. Who cares about how anybody else feels about us getting what we're owed and what we're deserved? That shouldn't even be considered. That's number one. But it's also very telling, because listen to what he's saying. On one hand, he's saying direct cash payments are not going to work. It's going to be a disaster. And also he's saying too many white people have a problem with the cash payments. Now, if the cash payments are going to be a disaster, why would the white supremacists have a problem with it?
Right. Makes no sense.
If the cash payments was really going to be a disaster and it wasn't going to benefit our community, why would they have a problem with it? But they would be cool with, you know, the other plan of building these institutions and giving loans.
So they can burn them down. So they can burn it down. And then those white institutions, such as the, you know, insurance companies and stuff like that, get major, you know, government money, because, you know, there's going to be a lot of claims and things like that. Like, it's a way for them to get money back. And that's just how I look at it. Again, we don't care how white people feel about it. We just want what's owed, period. You guys have not said that to the Japanese. You guys did not say that to the Jewish people, and their atrocity didn't even happen here. Yet, my tax dollars pay for it. I have no say-so about it, and you don't give a fuck about my feelings. Imagine that.
Right. And so to me, that's very contradictory right there. And somebody would have pointed it out in the interview, or the one dude with the locks, he did give a little bit of pushback about him saying how white people feel about it, but he didn't point out the contradiction of okay, if cash payments, if we already know that's going to be a disaster, then why they ain't on board with it?
Right.
Why would they be on board with the plan that's actually going to work? We're going to get more people on board if we say take it out of cash payments and put it in institutions, and that's going to help the community thrive. More white people are going to be on board with that.
White institutions, because they're white institutions. We have none.
No. Talking about building black institutions, obviously. Talking about building black institutions. You know, for instance,
with white help,
like the what do you call it? You know, like the Freedmen's Bureau, where you would have to go and apply for, you know, certain funding, certain loans. You know, that bureau would be charged with, you know, building these institutions that are needed, whether it's schools, whether it's banks, whether it's whatever institution.
Marcel's plan does that. Marcel Dixon's plan does that, that he wrote up, but it also includes cash reparations, period. Why can't we do both? Why do we have to be a one-trick pony? Why does it have to be only their way and not every way, you know, that benefits foundational Black Americans, the people that built this country, the people that are denied? Like, what is that? Like, why do they have to control the narrative and what reparations look like to make them feel better about it?
Exactly. The bottom line is we don't need a babysitter.
No.
Just pay what you owe and we'll handle our own business. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a babysitter to say, oh, we're going to make sure you guys do the right thing with the money, and so we're going to put it over here. No.
They want us to be perpetual children, because unfortunately, for the most part, that has been what's happening. We have, you know, depended on the dominant society for so long, which we kind of had no choice, because, you know, everything that we had and built was taken away from us. So I understand that, but they need us to constantly lean and depend on them for crumbs, because they're not giving us anything to really sustain ourselves, you know. But that's to keep us in a perpetual, you know, childlike, you know, system where we're dependent on them. They don't want us to be independent, although they say pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
Right.
It's not what they really want.
Right. And speaking of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and reparations and all that, that leads us to our main topic. We talking about our brother Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics. He is a shooting guard and a small forward. I think he's an underrated player, actually. I think he's very good. I don't think they use him the way that they should over there in Boston, but that's another story. And so anyway, and by the way, shout out to the Black Dot Young Malcolm over at Urban X TV, #1 father and son podcast on the internet. They actually had Jaylen Brown call into their show the other day.
Yes.
That was very fly. Congratulations to those brothers for landing that. And it seems like they're going to be, having them on going forward. You know what I'm saying? Giving updates and stuff like that. And so, yeah, shout out to Urban X TV for that. That's big.
That is huge, massive.
Yeah, because he's all over the headlines right now because of this big contract, $304 million over a 5-year period, biggest contract in NBA history. And I know a lot of sports fans, y'all talking about, oh, he don't deserve all that money and all this, that, and the third. A lot of y'all sports fans, y'all get on my nerves with shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop pocket watching the goddamn athletes. Everything that they get, they deserve.
Everybody, not just the athletes. I seen, I want to say it's y'all Uncle Mammy, and I didn't see her broadcast because I don't follow the heifer. But Uncle Mammy, what's her name with Mushmouth? I forgot the lady name.
I almost forgot
Uncle
who
Mammy
that is too.
You know, Uncle Mammy with Mushmouth,
was the mayor of Chicago, wasn't it?
No, this one Uncle Mammy too. You know, the ADOS leader.
Yvette Carnell.
I saw some things circulating, and some people on my timeline shared it, but she did a whole broadcast basically on pocket watching Boys Tariq and anyone else in Black media. You know, that he got this donation for this, and you know he has this school, and you know he wrote this book, and all. Where is all that money going? Yet she has a Patreon with over 60,000 people. A Patreon. So in order for you to listen to this heifer, you have to pay $5, $10, or whatever it is per month to hear her complain about what other people are doing. You never see her boots on the ground. We don't see her doing the shit that Marcel Dixon is doing. You know what I'm saying? And she's charging people basically to pocket watch other people and what other Black people are doing with their money. And my thing is, if I donate to anybody, it ain't nobody's business. It's my money. You didn't earn it. So if I give it all to anybody, it's nobody's business. But I don't understand. What I don't understand is these pocket watching Negroes. They never pocket watch white people. I personally have a problem with all the Black athletes' contracts being exposed and how much money they earn. We don't see that massively with the white athletes either. Why do we have to constantly broadcast how much a Black athlete has earned, or a Black actor, or anything? Why is that a thing?
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And even the question that the reporter asked him about what he's going to do with the money, they wouldn't ask that to anybody else either.
Yeah, I don't like it.
They wouldn't ask that to anybody else either. But the way that he responded to the question, I thought it was a very good, thought out response, even though I don't agree with every single thing that he said, point for point again. Right. But again, who are we going to agree with point for point? I agree with the overall sentiment of what he said he wants to do out there in Boston, which is rebuild Black Wall Street. And also, he didn't just put all of the onus on himself because he got this contract. He called on the politicians. He called on other business people in the community and all the other wealthy people that were in the room. He said it's going to take all of us to do this. And he's talking about addressing the wealth gap out there in Massachusetts, in Boston in particular. And I feel like I'm skipping something that I wanted to say before I get to that.
What was I going to say? I did too.
It'll probably come back to me. But speaking about the way that he did respond to it, right? There was a lot of people of color talk. There was a lot of minority talk, right? And the reason why I say, I don't want to say I don't have a problem with it, because obviously that's problematic. You know what I'm saying? That works against us. We know that. But I'm not mad at Jaylen Brown, is what I'm trying to say, because Jaylen Brown doesn't owe us.
Right.
Jaylen Brown is not in debt to us.
Agreed.
Right? And so he can do whatever the hell he wants to do with his money. You know what I'm saying? He can do absolutely nothing for the Black community, and we can't criticize him for that.
Right.
And so if he's doing something, even though I don't agree with the wording and the strategy and all that, I can't be mad at him because he's not obligated to do anything.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
He's not the United States government. He's not the Massachusetts government. You know what I'm saying? He's one man. He can only do so much. And this is what's on his heart. This is what's in his heart. This is what he feels he can contribute. So I'm not mad at him for saying people of color, minorities, and all that. I wish he was more codified and had the specificity behind his plan and all of that. But he's not. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. We all got to do what we must do, what we're capable of doing, with what's in our heart, with the resources that we have. And so I salute him in his efforts. Now, it is going to be a major obstacle and uphill climb for our brother to even accomplish what he's trying to do, even based on what he's saying with the people of color talk and all of that.
I agree. And Camila Moore, kind of broke that down, which I hope that's what you're going to be bringing up. And we'll, talk about that, as well. But also, I just feel like, why even ask a man what he plans on doing with his money? It's rude. I feel like that is very, very rude. And also him even saying what he wants to do specifically for Black people, rebuilding Wall Street. I feel like things like that puts a target on him. I feel like he should have just, I plan on living good. I'm just gonna vaguely answer the question. Me, if I'm in his, situation, that's none of your business. Respectfully, what I'm gonna do with my money. What do you do right now with your income, sir? Or ma'am, whoever answered the damn question, ask the question. Like, I just feel like it's rude, to ask someone what they're going to do with their paycheck, regardless of the size of it. That's none of your business. I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to live better. I'm going to provide for my family, because I just feel like certain little things, if they think you're going to do something that's going to, empower your people, they're going to try to do something to block you.
I agree. And so even with the people of color minority talk, he still puts a target on his back by even saying what he said.
Exactly.
And this brother's only 26 years old.
A baby.
He's a very young man. You know what I'm saying? He's not even in his pinnacle, his prime of his career yet. So he's still got a long way to go. He has a lot more to learn as an individual. But also, did y'all know that this nigga is like a multi-genius?
Wow, no, I didn't know.
Were y'all aware of that? This dude is mad smart, by the way. But before I get to that, let me tell y'all why I said it's going to be a major obstacle for him to accomplish his goal and bring what he's trying to do into fruition. And shout out to Camila Moore. Y'all know his sister. Wrong page. Y'all know the sister out there was on
California.
California Task Force. She pointed this out. And this is egregious.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
When you see it like this, and it's numbers, right? People lie, numbers don't. Right? So the way she broke this down, yeah.
In Boston, the median net worth of a white family is $247,500. Did I say that right?
Almost $250,000 for white people.
The median net worth of a white family is about $250,000, while the median net worth of a Black American descendant of slave, in the U.S. is just
$8.
Jaylen Brown's plan is noble, but is impossible to achieve without significant government action, and that is a fact. And so that's for all the reparations deniers, for all the people that's pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Y'all don't need no reparations. Stop asking for handouts. It ain't enough bootstraps in the damn galaxy.
World, period.
Let me tell y'all what median net worth means. Let me look it up. Median income, I should say. What is it? She said the
median
net worth. Net worth. Hold on, y'all.
We're gonna give the Webster's dictionary.
So the mean net worth is the average net worth, the net worth of a group's average into one. So the median net worth is the value that is right in the middle of all of those numbers. The median net worth is arguably the one that gives you a more realistic view of an age group's or any other demographic group's financial standing. So that's the best way to figure out where a group stands financially, by using median net worth. And so there are some people in the white households who are way above that 250,000. There are some who are below the 250,000. That 250,000 is right.
It's an average.
And so $8
is ours
in the middle. So you got people who's less than that.
Right.
You
That's
got
the middle, y'all.
Ain't even worth $8.
That's literally the middle.
And so again, I salute my brother. I commend his mindset and him even having the desire to do what he said he wants to do. And so some people were saying, you know, why are you congratulating him, and why are you proud of him? You know, he's part of the system, and obviously he's an integrationist because he's talking all of this minority talk and all of that. Again, I can compartmentalize. You know what I mean? I can put things in their proper context and perspective. I'm not looking for a savior.
Right.
I'm looking for one athlete to come and save the Black community. You know what I'm saying?
You shouldn't either. Whoever think that, you shouldn't either.
Those are not my expectations. But that doesn't mean I have to just throw him away completely. He's no good at all. This is great what he's trying to do. Some people...
And he doesn't have to, as you pointed out before. He does not have to. He owes us nothing. The federal government does.
Right.
So have that smoke for your elected officials, right? Make sure you're signal boosting, the reparations movement, and put that pressure on the elected officials, because guess what? Our brother Jaylen is owed reparations too.
Right. Even with his $304 million contract, he's still going to need that check. He's still going to need that check. And so, yeah, man, young brother, 26 years old, biggest contract in NBA history, wants to build a Black Wall Street in Boston, which we know is one of the most racist cities in the damn nation, even though it's in the North. A lot of people try to put all the racism in the South.
Right.
Historically and currently has a reputation of being one of the most racist places, one of the most racist cities in the country. With
the police department as well as towards the athletes.
Right.
When they're in those stands making monkey noises and saying the N-word, all kinds of crap happens with those athletes when they perform there.
Right. So like you said, there will be a target on our brother's back just for attempting to do something like this. But the thing that I wanted to tell y'all about, did y'all know that this brother was a multi-genius?
Yeah, to get to that, because I don't follow sports in that way. I'm usually a playoffs person. I'll look at it then and only with the Lakers. I'll be honest.
Hold on a second. I want to find this.
And while he's doing that, you guys make sure that you are still sharing out this post. Again, even if you do not repost it on your social media or share this out, just hit the share button. Keep hitting it. That just gets us boosted into the algorithm here on YouTube. So a lot of people are able to notice our channel. We are still growing, and we do appreciate you guys tuning in with us on this lovely Sunday.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So this brother, like I said, he's super smart. And so NBA GMs before the 2016 draft thought he was too smart and had too many outside interests, so some stayed away. Some of these GMs didn't even want to draft him because like this nigga probably ain't gonna play too long in the NBA. He got too many other important things going on. So they was like, he good, but I don't think he's gonna be no long-term investment for us. So they was passing up on him. And so he graduated top of his class in high school. He went to the University of California at Berkeley. He was part of the chess team at Cal. He plays piano and guitar. He took graduate classes as a freshman. He learned multiple languages. He's the youngest person ever to lecture at Harvard. MIT Media Lab Fellow. He was offered a NASA internship. Youngest at 22, NBA PA vice president ever. So he became the basically the spokesperson for all the NBA players at the age of 22. That's why he was speaking when that whole shit was going on with Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was the one that was speaking about all of that stuff, and he held it down when that was going on too. He didn't throw Kyrie under the bus or none of that shit. He spoke very eloquently and he defended Kyrie.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I like LeBron, the bomb.
And while they were negotiating this $304 million deal, guess what he was doing? He was teaching a robotics class to kids. So STEM. So that's dealing with STEM. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and all of that. So this brother could do anything. You know what I'm saying? He could do anything. He not the average dumb jock. You know what I'm saying? So again,
he is a little dumb.
Salute Jaylen Brown. Why you say that?
He's dating Bernice Burgos.
I heard that too. I heard
She has a daughter his age as well as she's a grandmother.
Look,
I mean, gorgeous sister. The sister is gorgeous. Whoever did her BBL, amazing. You know, the sister is gorgeous. So this is no dig to her. She's stunning. You know, but Jaylen, you know, fall back, brother. You know, you made a lot of great decisions in life. You know, can we get the line from you, Sincere, from Sunshine, the best piece? You say it, you know.
The strongest piece on this whole team is my black queen.
Boom, Jaylen. Did you hear that?
One of the most important decisions that we make in life is the person that we choose as our mate.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know if this is something, you know, serious, if he's head over heels for this chick or whatever the case may be. But I ain't going to say it's a dumb thing. We all, you know, can be, you know, victims of our
Don't get her pregnant, Jaylen. Don't get her pregnant then. I'll just say that.
Yeah, man. They get Bernie's Burgos. Bernie, I think you could do a little bit better than that, my brother.
I agree. A
little bit better than that. At the same time, I understand. As a man, I definitely understand. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we all can fall victim to our lower self and those desires. And the lust is a strong demon.
Yeah. And my thing is have fun. He's young.
Right.
You know, have fun responsibly. Like we say, drink responsibly, have fun responsibly, and that's all.
Yeah. Stay strapped, tear that thing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the father in him speaking to, like, you know, his son, you know. I can hear, you know, honestly, it's crazy because my son be like, you know, Mom, when I'm in a car with my dad, you know, and I'll see a girl, you know, walking by or something, I'll be like, Dad, you seen that? She banging, or you seen all that? He's like, my dad, like, still treats him kind of like a little kid in a way, like he doesn't comment or he'll just laugh. He's like, I be wanting to have those conversations, like, I'm ready to start talking about it. But his dad is still super awkward with him when it comes to women, like, and just sex, period. Like, dude, he's 18. Like, you gotta open up. You gotta open up.
I think moms are more open. I ain't gonna say they better, but I think moms are more open when it comes to stuff.
I am.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a difficult thing as a parent, particularly as a
why?
Because it just
with
is.
A son. I'm gonna say with a son. I understand it maybe being awkward for a father with his daughter to have certain conversations.
It's not awkward to me. It's not awkward. I'm saying it's a tightrope situation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because we still don't got the answers, a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? We don't got all the answers. You know what I mean? And so you don't want to give them bad information. You know what I'm saying? You want to advise them, but you don't want to give them bad information either. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tightrope situation. It's not awkward. I have those conversations without it being awkward, but I am very careful about what I say. And really, I talk to my son the same way I talk to my daughter. I don't do the double standard thing.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? I tell him, you know what I'm saying, that he's supposed to guard his seed and value himself and hold himself to a higher standard and not just be running around trying to smash everything and anything. I tell him that, you know what I'm saying? And so most dads, most men don't. We're taught to uphold the double standard, and that certain things are okay for boys that are not okay for girls. And so with me, the same things that I tell my daughter are not okay are the same things that I tell my son are not okay. And so that's a hard thing to drive home when the whole society is telling you something
different.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing to drive home. But I can only draw from my own experiences and try to get him to understand why I believe he should have those type of values.
Yeah, my son was texting me the other day. I guess he and his girlfriend were having a conversation basically about like relationship order. You know what I'm saying? And he has this thing where he wants to be the provider, he wants to be the protector already, and they have these little conversations, and she's not there yet. She kind of has more of a white feminist outlook on relationships and stuff like that. But I just tell him, she's not where you are mentally, and then you sharing your ideals and about family and stuff like that. At some point, if this is the woman that's going to be for you, you guys will come together on where you meet at the most, you know what I'm saying? And the things that do not work for your, future relationship, you guys will, not bring that into your relationship, but you have to be patient, with her as well, because she's just not where you are. She isn't being taught, maybe what you're being taught at home. And also in her household, her mama is the head. So, you have to, think about that. So it's just a lot of little things, and we literally have a lot of deep conversations, about it. And I'm just always telling him just to be patient and continue to share, your perspectives, and continue to have those dialogues with each other, because that's how you're gonna make sure and know if this is the person that you're definitely gonna be with forever, right? And if she's not, that's a lesson. Doesn't mean that, it wasn't a great experience, but you can't, force, your ideas on her either, and your way. It's something that she naturally has to, want to do. I said, she's 18. You're both just 18. I said, she hasn't even tapped into her feminine self yet. You know what I'm saying? She really hasn't. So you're going to have to be patient and continue having a conversation. And I like that they do. I love that they do. They pray together, y'all. They read their little daily affirmations and stuff together when they wake up. It's really cute. I love it.
Sure. Yeah, but also you got to have certain parameters in place and deal breakers in place. Right. You got to already have that in place, and that comes with knowing yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to know the person that you're trying to link up with, obviously. But before that, knowledge of self on a personal level, not just who we are as a people, but who you are as an individual, your purpose in life, your divine purpose in life. Things that make you tick, things that you can tolerate, things that you can't tolerate. You got to have parameters in place that are going to be deal breakers. So when you're having these conversations, as the red flags are going off, you can make that decision early that this ain't going to go but so far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that way you block yourself from getting caught up to where you go beyond those parameters and you don't know how to get back. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna end up being miserable. End up linking up with the wrong person and being miserable.
Exactly.
That goes back to something very important that we talk about a lot on here, which is the art of courting. We got to get to that as a people. The art of courting and mating, linking up with the right people. That's something that has been lost in our society. You know what I mean? And so we got to definitely get that together.
Right. So how their conversation started, he sent it to me, and I'm looking at it right now. I just went in our text messages, and she sent him a reel from Instagram, and it's a wedding, and it says a bride refuses to say wedding vows about obeying your husband. We didn't talk about that one in counseling, she said. So he was like, Mom, Alexa sent this to me. Basically he was feeling some kind of way. About the obeying part, and I just kind of, my response to him was, I said, then tell her she will be by herself or marry a weenie. But then, no, I cleared it up. I said, this is what's wrong with this generation now. A man is supposed to lead his family, and a woman is supposed to submit to his leadership. Submission is the ability to trust your husband to lead. When we submit to the will of God first, and submitting to our man becomes natural. We submit to his calling and vision and assist him on that journey. And then he put, when will she ever learn? So I just kind of, gave him my perspectives on submission. Submission doesn't mean being a doormat. Submission is to submit is to serve, nurture, respect, support, and love your husband's your life partner. And so we just kind of had a long little dialogue basically on that. Again, she may not understand what that means, and when my best friend got married, that was hard for her too. She said it, but we had a talk about it after her vows, and she was like, it was really hard for me, the submitting part, until she really, really tapped in. And I don't think that she was really tapped into her femininity at the time that she said her vows. And it was really, really hard for her, that word submit, because for some people it does have a negative connotation based off of what we've seen it, how we've seen it in our lives and the people around us. Now when you see it in the right way, you understand it more, and it was, when she did submit to the right man, it made sense to her later. But in that moment, she was just like biting her lip. It took her a while to actually say it. Everybody's laughing during the vows, like, is she gonna say it? And it was hard for her. We spoke about that later.
Yeah, and like you said, based on what we've seen, and part of that is based on us as men, because a lot of what you're saying, like my brother Melanin on Code said here, great advice, right? And I think it's great advice for women and young women to hear, but also for the men. In order for that to happen, we have to be able to step into our roles. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the problem with a lot of our women having issues with that submission part. Is because we haven't been operating in our proper roles as men. And so both of us have a lot of work to do as far as that goes. But I think the onus is on us as men. We have to really get into our role to where women feel comfortable trusting our leadership. You know what I'm saying? They have to be able to trust that, we're leading them in the right direction, and that they're going to have the stability that they need to be able to just relax in their femininity. That's going to be on us to create the environment so that they can naturally submit. You know what I'm saying? And so, on a personal level, I'm still learning this. I'm still growing as an individual. And so,
But you are aware of it, though. You're aware of, the fact that you're still growing into that, right? So consciously, you're thinking about, what you're saying to your wife, how you're approaching her, the things that you're saying to her, and also allowing her to feel safe, in your leadership. But you're conscious of it. I don't think a lot of men are conscious of it. I know I've had conversations with my brother, about, women submitting and stuff like that. And I feel like his is more, in my opinion, on a more chauvinistic perspective. So he still has a lot, of learning, about what leadership is. And I also sent this to my son, just so y'all know. I put leader, selfless, his vision, plan to execute, one who understands their purpose, tenacity, wisdom, understanding of human nature, prepares to lead themselves, someone that holds themselves and others accountable, uplifts, connection to the source, God. So that's what I told him he needs to be, as a man. And then I told him, as far as her, submitting, in my perspective or opinion, submitting isn't weak. Submitting to the right man isn't weak. God's order, man is the head. I don't care who makes more money. If she stays at home, a wife or not, he is the head, I'm the neck. Traditional gender roles: God, husband, wife, children. So I'm letting him know, though, he also can't be, being a leader doesn't mean being chauvinistic either. Shut up, it's my way, no way, because it's still a partnership, and she also still has an opinion, right? And you also have to be open to her opinions, because her way may be the right way, the better way.
Right.
Right. So, you have to, be open to it. Just because you are the head, what I'm saying, you also have to be open to the interdependence of the relationship.
Right. Right. The part that stands out to me and there is the understanding of human nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important. But at the same time, that also goes back to choosing the right person as well. Because if you have a deep understanding of human nature, but your partner doesn't, they're not going to understand a lot of your actions, a lot of decisions that you make, a lot of responses that you have. Even like when you get in certain arguments, like you're always going to have arguments, right? You get in an argument with your significant other. The way that you respond to it as a man who has an understanding of human nature, you might be playing past something because you understand the nature of humans. You understand the nature of your woman. You might be playing past something, and she don't understand that you're playing past it, and she might take that as you being nonchalant or dismissive or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? He's not going to address that. You're not going to feed into that. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to ignore that, and you're ignoring it because you see a higher purpose, because you have that understanding of the human nature, but she doesn't have that same understanding, so she doesn't understand why you're not, feeding
engaging,
whatever the case may be, and so that will even further cause the conflict. And so, man, communication. At the end of the day, it has to be constant.
He wants me. He wants me to basically. He told me that I need to have Bible study with her. I was like, no, that it's your relationship. And I can't push, because I'm your mom. And so in her mind, automatically, I'm going to be biased.
Right.
Possibly, in her mind, I said, so your relationship is your relationship. The only thing I can do is give you my, perspectives and stuff. But your relationship is your relationship. And you two have to build on, whatever foundation you guys want to pursue for your future. And again, that doesn't mean that you're going to be together forever, and that's okay too. That's okay too. This is just this could be the person that you learn the most from.
Right. Shout out to Mama Love.
Hey, Mama Love. Yeah, but I get so excited, to be honest, y'all, when he sends me stuff, like we'll text and stuff, and he'll be literally in the next room. He don't even be gone. We'll sometimes sit in a room and talk about it, and sometimes we'll just be in our separate rooms, and he'll just want to text about it. And I'm like, okay, so he doesn't want to sit and talk. This is probably him just kind of venting in a way. Let me let him be alone. He's comfortable enough, to have this conversation, with me. So I'm going to have it his way. So I won't, go in his room or anything like that. I'll just sit in my room and we'll just text back and forth. And that's what it was about. But I appreciate the fact that he's still comfortable enough, to have those conversations with me. But I won't get involved in his relationship. I told him that I'm not going to do that. That's between y'all. You're in the relationship. I'm not.
Much respect to that. Much respect to that. But anyway, so Jaylen Brown, Bernice, whatever y'all got going on, good luck. I don't know. Like I said, this brother, man, can she hold the conversation with this brother? I mean,
you're right.
I don't know that lady. Let me leave that lady alone. I don't know that lady, man. I don't know that lady. She might be a multi-genius too. She's just using what she got to get what she wants.
What she want. Players Club. Speaking of Ice Cube, Players Club.
Right. You know, I ain't mad at that. Jaylen, just be careful, my brother.
Right.
I want to see you win. I want to see you continue to be prosperous. I don't want you getting caught up in these Zion Williams antics and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't be one of those, bro.
Oh God, that was horrible. Yeah. All right, y'all. So we are going to wind it down. We've been going strong with y'all for over an hour, almost 2 hours now.
Yeah, 2 hours we've been on here.
Yeah, we've been going strong. See, we be planning, y'all, to be like, all right, you know, we got X, Y, and Z to do. We just gonna go and try to chop it up for about an hour, but shit be getting good over here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. Appreciate everybody tapping in with us today. If you're just tuning in, you missed a good show, go watch the replay. Yeah. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this out on your social media platforms. If you are not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes. I played the freestyle that I did on Sirius XM at the beginning of the show. If you missed it, go back and watch the replay. Actually, it's on my page anyway. I posted it on my page.
And mine too.
Check that out.
On Twitter.
I will be doing a lyrical breakdown to that freestyle most likely this Tuesday.
Okay.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure y'all tune in for that. The Masters Decoded. I'm going to have fun breaking down that freestyle because there's a lot behind it. So y'all definitely want to tune in for that. Also, we got another episode of the Black Business
Showcase this Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
What we got?
I don't know.
We got somebody.
We got somebody. It's one of our FBA Dallas alumni. So make sure you guys tune in this Wednesday. That is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in California, it's 6 my time. If you're in Georgia, New York, something like that on the East Coast, it's going to be 9 p.m. Because sometimes people, even the guests, a lot of times y'all get it confused. So sometimes when we're running late on a Wednesday, they'll see, you know, the time and mix it up. So I like to kind of make sure I let everybody know, just in case, you know, you're not, you know, familiar with time zones and shit. You know, I like to make sure I'm clear about that because Central Time will only be 2 hour difference. So, yeah.
Right. Click the notification bell. You should be straight.
Exactly. That's what he said. But yeah, we have another fly entrepreneur, business owner that's going to be with us this Wednesday. So make sure you guys tune in. And of course, every Sunday, we're here usually at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anything changes, we did change today, you know, we'll keep you guys updated. And thank you to everyone that did take the time to tune in with us live today. And we will see you guys again on Tuesday for the Decoded series, and then on Wednesday for the Black Business Showcase.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Melanie on code. Appreciate the compliments. And so, remember, family, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. That being said, we are out of here. Peace and Black love.
Yeah, like that. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen.